An old friend of our 2022 honoree for music recalls that he was so kind, he would tip the young men who pumped his gas at the filling station. This reveals that he was indeed a generous man, and that he, and that old friend, Kenny Evans, lived long enough ago to have gas jockeys fill up the tank. But Henry Trustman Ginsburg was more than just kind. He left an indelible mark on the world of music in Greeley and Colorado for 4 decades, from the early 1930s until the late 1960s. An accomplished violinist, Ginsburg was also an esteemed teacher, revered Greeley Philharmonic Orchestra conductor, and director of live concerts for KOA Radio in Denver. Ginsburg came to the then Colorado State College of Education as a violin instructor in 1931, and inherited the GPO baton from colleague DeForest Klein 3 years later. His first Philharmonic concert was at Gunter Hall on January 31, 1934. His farewell concert was at that same venue 35 years later on February 11, 1969. Before coming to Greeley, Henry taught at the Denver School of Music, was concertmaster for the Denver Civic Orchestra, first violin in the Denver String Quartet with his wife Blanche, and director of the KOA Radio Orchestra. Retiring GPO conductor Klein stated that his greatest musical achievement was convincing Ginsburg to leave Denver and come up to Greeley. Violin virtuoso Jascha Heifetz once said, "Ginsburg is a great artist. All he needs to become an outstanding concert artist is a good manager." This gifted player dazzled local and national audiences, yet he stayed dedicated to Greeley and Denver, commuting almost daily between the two cities. World War II nearly spelled the end for the Philharmonic. Performers served in the armed forces, and attendance dwindled. Ginsburg himself left the GPO to conduct the Denver Civic Orchestra. But when the war ended, he returned to Greeley. He then fought for financial support for the orchestra, and in 1946, GPO musicians finally were paid $5 per performance. The young conductor brought in high-profile guest artists and raised the season ticket price from $1 to $4. Notables Ginsburg hired included New York Metropolitan Opera stars and Isaac Stern, perhaps the greatest violin player ever. Crowds of up to 3,000 people packed Gunter Hall to marvel at these guest stars, supported by an orchestra of locals who elevated the performances from simple concerts to grand musical spectacles. In 1952, Ginsburg formed the Junior Philharmonic, established to give youths quality instruction and performance opportunities. It was a success for the community and the big orchestra. Among notable participants were District 6 music teacher and GPO violinist Judy Atkinson and UNC and GPO pianist Phyllis Eaton. The Junior Philharmonic's first concertmaster was classical music activist Patsy Zick, who helped found the Greeley Philharmonic Guild. When Ginsburg promoted her to the GPO, she would go on to play in the orchestra for decades. Longtime Philharmonic conductor Howard Skinner said of the man he succeeded, "Henry Ginsburg has been a pioneer in every sense of the word. His contributions to the musical wealth of Greeley will be counted for many years to come." And so they have. It has been more than 50 years since his final concert, yet Henry Ginsburg's legacy of generosity continues, from tipping the kid at the gas pump to fostering decades of world-class musical culture.